What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here. You can call me Irish, and today I'm playing Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Online. So, reason why I'm playing this, and even putting it on the channel, should I say, is because if you are subscribed to Scanner Barkley, you will see that he's been kind of uploading it a bit lately, doing kind of class in-depth looks kind of things and recommendations on class setups and stuff. And that got me playing it again because he's only started recently playing it, whereas I've been, I got it a couple of months ago, and, I got it and I started playing it and I enjoyed it, but within the first night of playing I got absolutely trashed, and then I swear to God, there was a guy or two on the enemy team that just were unbelievable. They were going 30-2 every single round, so that was just incredible. But that put a sour taste in my mouth. That made me start worrying that it was kind of pay to win kind of thing. So I lost kind of interest in it for a while. But Scanner's videos have kind of put me back onto it, and I must say I really am enjoying it. For the most part, I'll get into more detail on it, but for the most part, it's not pay to win. I'll just get that out of the way first. There's nothing that I can see in it that's pay to win so far. It was just, the guy was really, really good. I got a bad taste in my mouth from it, basically. But, what is it? Before I go into what it is, I'll just basically talk about the gameplay. This is, I believe it's called Conquest. You fight over objectives, if you see in the top right corner there. You've got A, B, C, and D, and E. And the first three are locked because you have to capture E, then D, then once you capture D, then you unlock C, and so forth and so on. And it goes back and forth until either the time runs out on the particular flag that you're trying to capture, or area as it was. Either that or until you capture all the points. It's half and half now. They almost have E. If they capture that, it's game over. They win. But if we can push them all the way back to A and capture A as well, then we win. You know, kind of way. And then if it's tied where we've got half of C, D, and E, and they've got half of C, B, and A, then it's obviously a tie. And then time gets added on every time you capture a flag. It's really, really cool. But basically, I believe I'm playing as the specialist, I think it's called, with the LMG. But about this game, what I meant to say was, we're playing Conquest. It's a fairly good game. It's fairly long. The rounds are the way it works is you play one round starting at A, trying to get all the way to E, for example, on this map. And then you play a second round starting on E, trying to get all the way to A. So the rounds are quite long. They're in and around 10 minutes per round. It reminds me a lot of Bad Company 2, when I first started playing Bad Company 2 back on the Xbox. You'd be playing half an hour long games, big epic drawn out games, and it'd be just, it was all tactical based and stuff like that. It reminds me a lot of that. But, yeah, that's why, I'm not gonna be, spamming the channel with this at all, because the videos are always 12 minutes long, and I don't know if I could talk about the actual gameplay that long, because there's a lot to talk about, but, I think this is gonna be, a very once-off kind of game that I'll post. But, anyway, what is it? What is Ghost Recon Online? Basically, it's a third-person / first-person tactical class-based shooter, and it's free to play, so definitely go and check it out regardless, because it's free. Why not? It's got some interesting additions. There's been games before where you're third person, and then if you zoom in, you kind of pull up close, I think, what's the game? Saints Row? I want to say Saints Row, you start off third person over the shoulder, and then as you zoom in, you get closer. But the way this works is it's quite different. It's, you're third person, and then you zoom in, and then you're first person, you're looking down the scope. And then also, while you're third person, you have a really awesome feature, which is when you hit, I think it's manually routed to something else, but I think I've got it to route to Q, or it could be manually Q, either way, I'm not sure. But that will flip your shoulder view. So if you're coming up to a corner with a door on the left side of the thing, and you need to be looking over your left shoulder, you just hit Q, and you're looking over your left shoulder. You'll see me do it multiple times in this video, as I get a nice double kill to flank. But yeah, basically, it's got some really, really, really interesting mechanics that I'm fascinated by. There's still a lot of things about it that I don't understand, because again, I have only just recently got back into it, but what I do understand, I really, really like. Just the mechanics, I hate third person shooters, so for me to be very interested in this, says a lot about it in itself. The way they incorporate the third person going into first person and stuff like that. And these cornering mechanics you'll see now, right? When you come up to cover, you hit E, or I think it's spacebar naturally, and E is to jump over things, but I rerouted them because I'm used to hitting spacebar for jumping over things, obviously. So you hit your button to go into cover, and then you're behind cover, and you can move left and right and up and down and stuff like that. You can crouch, you can crouch, you can go prone, and you can obviously be fully standing. But when you're behind cover, you can push yourself out around the cover, and then when you aim down the sights, you aim you go down, you go to first person, and then you aim over or around the object that's in front of you. It's just a really cool mechanic. I think I've spent a lot longer than I should have on that, but yeah, it's really, really good. Like, I like it. I like the whole feeling of it a lot. Like, I like the mechanics of it a lot. There's things that I don't like about it, like some of the basics are all well and good. The moving into position and stuff like that. I'm just looking up things on the website there. Like the moving in position, it's all well and good. Like you've got like a little second counter there. When I stop sprinting here, you'll see like there's a little second counter. It takes like a second or two to stop sprinting. There, see that there on the screen? It takes you like a minute, like half a second or a second to stop, and then half a second or a second to start again. And like that's cool, but I kind of wish it was a little more instant if it that, like, but however, like, I'm not really going to complain. It doesn't really affect too much. There's some things that I find a bit strange about it is when you're not aimed on sights, when you're aimed first person or when you're third person and you're shooting, it's hard to tell if you're actually shooting or not. And then if you are shooting and then you go to aim down sights, it's like, I don't know, I found it to be quite glitchy. I don't really know how to explain it completely, but I found the whole shooting while moving thing glitchy. If you're standing still and you're in cover, it's fine, and there's not a problem at all. Like, you just aiming or just hip firing seems kind of weird. It doesn't always seem to work, in a weird way. I know that sounds strange, like it's kind of game breaking, but it obviously must work. It's just something about it, I don't know. But yeah, like there's certain little things here and there that either just it feels like they're broken to me, or like they feels like they're a bit iffy, or they genuinely are, in which case they need to fix them. But okay, so I'm missing out on a big part. The classes themselves. So you've got the assault, the recon, the specialist. The specialist would be like your support in Battlefield 3. The assault gets assault rifles, shotguns and pistols. Recon gets sniper rifles, submachine guns and pistols. And specialist gets light machine guns, shotguns and pistols. And they're all real guns. They're all real world guns from what I can tell, at least for the most part. They're all real world guns. Like the M27, if you might know the IAR variant of that from Battlefield. And I can't remember the name of the other ones. Damn, yeah, but they all are. I recognize a lot of the names. You've got like the MP5 and stuff like that in the store. I suppose since I just mentioned that, I'll get into it. It's kind of weird because it's a free-to-play game. You can buy guns and stuff like that on the store, which does lead to a high possibility of like pay-to-win coming into it. But I have not really found that to be the case. Yeah, I found that like I've gotten killed like I was playing last night, and I think I've got the game recorded. I'm not certain, but I was playing last night and I was coming up against a guy that I was literally almost certain was hacking, because literally every time I seen him, he was using a gun that, first off, I didn't know, like I don't think I'd ever seen before. He was using a gun that I didn't know, and like literally it would take about 2 shots and I'd be down. Even if he could only see the top of my head, or or my shoulder, or my arm, or my gun reaching out around the corner, it felt like I was just getting 2 hits and I was dead. And if you can see in the top right corner there, your base when you first start out off, unless you recover yourself, or upgrade yourself, unless you upgrade yourself, you start off with, I think that is 120, is that right? Hold on, my quality is not the best. Do you think having a second screen would make this easier? Yeah, 120. That's your base health when you start off, before you upgrade your armor and stuff like that. But even at that, I think most armors and stuff like that have to be bought in the store. I still haven't looked into the whole store side of the thing. I'm still just kind of getting used to the base game and the base guns and stuff like that. When I know more about it, I can get more in depth. I'll obviously make further videos. But other features that I should mention before this video is over. If you've seen the screen went all blurry and shaky, it was all crazy looking. I think that was an enemy's like I don't know what you call it, like their special ability kind of thing, like their perk or whatever. You've got like these little perk things. I think mine is called Aegis on the specialist class, where you can put out like almost a force field where it deflects enemy bullets. That's quite infuriating to come up against, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I've come up against people use it, and also because it spreads it out in an area, like your teammates can come into that area of effect, and they can also be like immune to bullets. It literally makes the player that uses it bulletproof for a little amount of time, but it's a good way of getting into areas and stuff like that. But to come up against it, it's really annoying. There's other ones. There's heat, where you're like, I think heat is in the assault class, where you pop up this little mechanical thing behind you, and it flashes out. Your screen turns into like a infrared kind of thing, and it detects enemies. But even that's kind of weird because, like, if you're standing too close to a wall, it will pick up random heat signals on the wall that interfere and stuff like that. There's definitely things that need to be fixed. As far as I remember, I think Scanner said in his video last night, that the one that I watched last night, his most recent one, I think he said it's still in beta. So, if it is, I'd be highly surprised because this is really, really good for a beta game. But that would make sense, but that would make up for a lot of the problems that I've, well, air quotes problems, what I'm finding to be problems. That would make up for a lot of them that I'm coming up against. Other problems are, it's not got that many maps. I literally feel like I've only played on about 3 or 4 maps. Like, I don't know again, because that could just because it's early in its cycle. And look at this push forward. This is a really good push forward that you seem to be doing here. Also note the fact that, remember when we were like defending our very like last flag, and we've pushed them all the way back now to their A. So we actually did manage to turn it around and like completely dominate them. It was awesome. Yeah, like there's not many maps at all. There is lots of weapons, but as far as I can tell, you have like a lot of them you have to buy in the store. You unlock some and stuff like that. Like they're all based on like an unlock system as you level up with XP and stuff like that throughout games. You get the ability to unlock them, but to actually buy them, I think you have to buy them off the store, and they are pretty expensive. Like the most expensive one is like 80,000 RP, where you only gain about 500, 600 RP a game, depending on how good you do, obviously. Other things about it, like, I feel like I should have made more point about this, but like, it's very, very slow. It's very slow paced, very what would even be the word for this? You have to put a lot of thought into your movements. It's very slow paced, you're very tactically thinking about where you're moving next. You can't just go Ramboing out. Like, if you're a COD player, you're not going to last very long in here because, unless you can adapt. It's like I said earlier on, it reminds me a lot of the early Bad Company 2 days when I first started playing that game. That was we all played, like everyone in those games back then seemed to play it very tactically and very aware and was very careful about where they moved and stuff like that. And that's the way you have to be. You literally don't have a choice. You have to take advantage of the cover system. But as you can see there, round 1, we pushed them all the way back, got all 5, and we took victory in round 1. I was very happy with this, and I went 9-7. It wasn't the best score in the world, but I helped capture flags, I helped clear people out, and it was just a really good game. That's the end of the gameplay. Apologies for no sound, by the way. I was playing with the sound on minimum just because when I was actually playing at the time, I forgot to turn the sound up because I turned it down because it was annoying me. But yeah, so apologies for the lack of sound. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. That was Ghost Recon Online, first video on my channel. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and